November 3rd, 2020 is nearly upon us, and it's a day of huge decisions in America, and it's going to affect the rest of the world. Let's face it, what goes on in America travels around the world pretty quickly. So I thought I'd get out the Starman Tarot, and I thought we'd have a quick look at what's being predicted. The astrology is, well, you know, a lot of conflict going on there. In some ways, there's a fair bit of balance coming in, and in some ways it's all quite positive because Mercury retrograde actually ends on the 3rd of November, and that's going to be 9:50 a.m. Pacific, and 3 hours later on the east side of the States and Canada. So it's like early morning towards middle of the day kind of thing. So that is going to be noticeable. Now Mercury is going direct in the sign of Libra, so much more balance is coming in there, and that is what's really going to kind of help matters, and I think get things a lot closer to a truthful, you know, a positive outcome, whatever that is. In a contest between two people who, if they had an equal chance of winning, and nobody can really say, you know, you never know what the preliminary polls and things like that are going to mean. The one who's got the best kind of 10th house, the least discordant 10th house situation is going to win it. So harmony, discord, that kind of thing is hugely important in it. If we just went by that, we'd say the winner was going to be Joe Biden. But it's really too close to call, it really is, because we've seen all that kind of scandalous stuff coming up about Biden. And whether people want to believe in that or not is entirely up to them, you know. As I say, the preliminaries are always really... you can have a big shock after the preliminaries have said things are going to go one way or the other. But magic always has answers to these things. So I got the Starman Tarot out, and I'm having a shuffle here. And we'll just do a quick 5-card reading to see what's going to happen, or at least to see what the cards say is going to happen. So first card out, I've dropped it on the floor, excuse me, it's the 10 of Pentacles, I'll tell you that much, right, because I saw it on its way down. Right, 10 of Pentacles. Now this is very earthy, and as the first card in the reading, this suggests that things are going to be nice and grounded. Actually, it doesn't look all that grounded a card though, does it? There's a lot of swirling stuff going on there, all kinds of things happening. And what's significant here is that the pentacles are actually all over the whole picture. They're kind of spread out left, right, top, bottom, all the way through the center of it and everything. And down here, right, is John Doe, Jane Doe, whoever you want to call it, and it's kind of reflected up here with a kind of a human form of cross there. So where's that cross going to be on people's ballot forms? A lot of people, of course, have voted already, and so the die is cast in that sense. But when you get a 10 card, it's always leading on to the next kind of phase of life. You know, in numerology, 10 is a very complete number, a number of things kind of coming to a head. But you've always got to think, what is actually going to happen next? What is actually going to come next? And that's what all the swirling clouds on this card are really all about. There's a good deal of purple in this card, which suggests to me that things might be going to heal. The star signs here, Taurus, Virgo and Capricorn, the earth signs, are really strongly indicated here. So with all this up in the airness, it's going to be really important to get grounded. And an important consideration there is actually people getting upset about the thing and worrying about the thing. So I'm just going to close that because it's making a noise. There we go. Last thing you really want to do is get deeply upset about a thing like this. There's been talk that we might see riots. There's been talk of all kinds of possible things going off in the wake of this. And then there's the question of, you know, if he's defeated, will Trump actually accept that defeat? There's a lot of worries, but, you know, stuff you worry about very rarely actually happens, and when things do actually happen, they're very rarely as bad as we think they're going to be. So a real case of keeping it real there, because the 10 of Pentacles, it's a rich kind of a card, you know. It shows there's a lot going on, and it bodes well, it bodes well in terms of money and in terms of progress in that sense. But there is going to be progress, because we always move on from that 10 of completion. Getting to a place where things are complete is always the beginning of getting on to the next stage and seeing where we're going next. The very next card I've drawn out is number 2. It's the High Priestess. And here she is sitting between the two pillars. And she's not just sitting there statically, you know, she's almost waiting, but she's actively waiting. That's the thing. She's actually doing something cosmic, something spiritual about making things happen. And it's kind of different to the traditional tarot deck, this one. It's a very kind of exciting one. But we have got the two pillars of Bina and Chokmah there. So she is sitting in between them. And right in the distance at the back, we can see that clear blue light. Now then, card 2 in a 5-card spread. We haven't got to the heart of the matter yet. We'll see that in the next card. But this is a real interesting one because it shows that there is actually a journey going on. We don't know where we're going to end up yet. We'll have a pretty good idea this time tomorrow. But even then, you know, it's a question of where do we go from here. It's always a question of where do we go from here. Nothing ever comes to an end. Even when people die in the physical form and go on to the afterlife, it's the beginning of a great spiritual journey, a great cosmic journey. So who knows where this journey is going to take us, but there is pure, clear light at the end of this tunnel here. There really is. So still looking quite positive, still not saying too much about any particular outcome here. But let's get to card number 3 and see what is going to be the heart of the matter as I shuffle the Starman Tarot, which is by David De Angelis, and pictures, artwork by Esther De Angelis, husband and wife team there. And this is based on artwork that was done for David Bowie. Anyway, there we go. It's a good enough shuffle, I think. Major Arcana again. And here is the heart of the matter about the big election coming up on November the 3rd. It is, let me see, number 8. It's the Strength card. Very, very positive. Now, the first thing I want to jump on here is that number 8, as above, so below. This is where we know there's going to be some kind of cosmic stuff going on here. There's going to be, the hand of fate is certainly going to be involved, but there is intervention from the higher realms, because whatever's going on earth here is echoing whatever's going on in the heavens. And we never know what those things are. We see them as they unfold, but we do know for sure that the hand of destiny is very strongly upon this election, upon this race that's going on at the moment. Now, we haven't just got one lion here, we've got 2 lions, but the character in the middle, again, she's not passive, you know, she's kind of moving her arms about, she's doing something significant, something spiritual and something really rather cosmic. But there's no kind of worry about the fact that she's standing between 2 lions which are roaring away and might very easily turn around and eat her. That's not actually going to happen. And real interesting that this one's come up actually as the heart of the matter in a reading about a presidential election, because we are kind of like this character, you know, we're in between the 2 lions. We don't really know, we know what we think, you know what I mean, but we don't actually know what's really going on in the minds of Biden, what's really going on in the mind of Trump, that kind of thing. And we don't really know what's going on in each other's minds. That's the thing, you know, people are very slow to tell the whole entire truth, even to close friends, about how they're going to vote and how they feel about things. It's something we tend to keep to ourselves because no one wants to get blamed if it goes wrong. That is for sure. But in this card, there is again a very strong sense of balance. And look up here, because it's the number 8. What have we got going on? I'm just going to turn around and take a closer look at this myself because I can't quite see it in the screen. I can't actually read what it says here. It's got some gold writing, and I guess that's obscure for a reason, because again, we don't really know which way this is going. But there are more cards to come, and we will see more of this, and we will find out more of this. There's a lot of blue in this card, but there's a big splotch of red. This is starting to tell me that it might not be entirely clear-cut, you know. Whatever happens, it's possible that we'll get one or the other parties will sort of have the most people, but it won't be such a huge majority, you know, of whatever numbers the other party has got. So they're going to have to actually incorporate a bit of the other side of what's going on here. I'm being very careful to be balanced here. What we're really seeing is loads of blue and a little bit of red. Let's not make any nonsense about that. But we're also seeing green. We're also seeing strength. And this isn't the strength of politicians. This is the strength of you. It's the strength of me. It's the strength of John Doe, Jane Doe, the average person in the street, and you know, that's the great strength that we've got to have, because whatever the politicians decide to do, we are the poor suckers that have got to get through this thing and make whatever they decide actually work. Okay, right, time for more shuffling. The cards are falling all over the place here, but not in such a way that any suggest themselves. So let's have another shuffle of the Starman and see where we're going here. Okay, well, two did come out together as I thought they might, so these are both card number 4. Okay, 8 of Wands was the first one that jumped out, this one. And it's that 8 of as above, so below going on here. So the angels are involved in this, okay? All the higher powers of the universe are involved in here. And with that, we've got to think of the higher self as well, because the higher self is a big part of whatever goes on in terms of cosmic things. We think about God, we think about angels, as if they're something separate, and in many ways they are, of course, but they are actually all part and parcel of our own higher selves as well. So that again plays into what I said with the last card. The average person is the one who's got to actually deal with this. We've got great light up in the sky here, shining out in the darkness and kind of shooting down this pillar to earth as well. And in terms of the Kabbalah that the tarot is originally based on, it's all about how the divine kind of interacts with the earth. And on the Kabbalistic tree of life, there is one way straight up the middle. So maybe we're actually going to get something really positive here. And one positive thing that is absolutely guaranteed, you know, this has really polarized people, this election thing that's going on at the moment. It's really got people on one side or the other. There are very few people sitting on the fence from either side of it. People kind of seem to know what they want. People think they know what they want anyway. So we are actually going to have we're going to be able to see things really clearly. That's the bottom line. Things are kind of confused, kind of confuddled at the moment. And card number 4A, if you will, is the Ace of Pentacles. So we're back to the Pentacles. We're back to that earth sign energy there, that earthy groundedness. And it's the Ace. There's always a lot of magic, a lot of alchemy involved when you get the Ace of any of the suits, actually. But in terms of the Ace of Pentacles, well, you know, whatever's going to happen on November 3rd, whatever's going to happen on the election is going to have very, very far-reaching results. And this is looking positive. This looks like it's going to kind of bring a greater amount of abundance into the picture. Maybe we'll cut through all the kind of lockdown craziness and that kind of thing. That would be really good, would it not? Let's see what card number 5 is then. Now this essentially is the outcome card, but as I'm doing this reading, I'm realising it's not actually going to tell me which candidate is going to win, but it's going to give you a pretty good idea of how your chosen candidate is actually going to get on and how they're actually going to do with this. And it is Major Arcana again. Well, it's a very important thing, this election, obviously, so I'm not surprised the Major Arcana has figured so highly in it. Basically, it's either been Major Arcana or the Suit of Pentacles, so kind of money, power, that kind of thing, spiritual power as well, but more than anything, groundedness. And the Star, this is a kind of, you know, sit back and think about things card. And so that's really what the result is going to be here, is going to be when we actually, you know, look back on the day at the end of the 3rd of November and see what's actually happened. That's what's really important. Now, the figure here is standing in water. So that water represents the flow of abundance, the flow of life, which is always changing, where kind of bad things can be taken away, new things can come in, and it can go the other way, of course. That is the nature of water. Depends whether you're upstream or downstream of whatever trouble's happening. But this character is resplendent here, and her crown chakra is absolutely on fire. Look at all the lightning streaks coming out of her crown chakra. So it's going to be a lightning moment. That's what the outcome's going to be, an absolute lightning moment, and it's going to leave people kind of standing either side of the fence, wondering which way things are going to go. And no doubt we'll find out which way things are going to go fairly quickly. But this shows that it's a decisive election. And it also shows that whatever's going to happen, people have got to keep calm. And that actually people will be finding that ability to keep calm in the aftermath, particularly if they link to that higher self. Maybe do some meditation, because whoever wins, it's going to make some people ecstatic. It's going to make other people kind of worried, kind of concerned, maybe even quite sad, because goodness knows, you know, whichever side of the fence we're on in this, we've all got things that we want to see happen, and we're all thinking about, you know, what is for the best good of the country, what is actually the highest outcome, the best outcome for the highest number of people. That's what I'm trying to say. So much more contemplation going there. So that really hasn't called it one way or the other, has it? But it's given us a good, strong idea of what's actually going on, of what's actually happening. And it's, you know, it's really pointing towards balance very strongly. But I'll say it again, earth signs kept coming up. And with all the riches, with all the joy, with all the massive spiritual possibilities that come up with the Suit of Pentacles, it's always earthy. It's always about kind of being grounded in reality. And my goodness, are we ever going to be grounded into the whole thing of reality after we get the result of this election? Anyway, there you go. Thanks very much for watching. It's a shorter one than usual, but it takes so long to upload these things. You know, I like to take my time. Hit the subscribe button. There'll be more readings coming up about anything and everything as we go forward into the future. Who knows where that future is leading? We'll know a little bit more about that tomorrow, but you never really know what the end of the story is, because as far as this world and the spiritual realms go, nothing ever really comes to an end. There is only the thing of passing into the next phase, whatever that might bring. So, friends, I hope you get the result you want. Thanks very much for watching. Hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Leave me a comment. Let's share the journey. Maybe even let's see what people think. You know, politics is always a bit of a crazy thing, isn't it? But at the same time, it's like that because it exercises the higher self. It's always about what people think would be best, and in that sense, it's really worth talking about. Okay, have a good one, folks. Love and light to you. Best of luck to everyone involved, and peace.